Hello everyone and welcome to the GameLeap Apex channel, your one-stop shop for everything Apex Legends. I'm your hostess with the mostest, 8Second Gaming, and Season 11 has been going strong, so now it's time to figure out where Legends fall in the meta and who you should be looking to either main or pick up on your squad. This season has a pretty balanced Legend pool so far, with almost every single Legend being viable, but if you're looking to climb into higher ranks, you have to start looking at what Legends offer to a team and how exactly you can leverage all those little aspects of them. High rank pros play certain Legends for a reason, and if you really want to play like them, first you have to understand why they played these characters. So grab a seat, crack open a shield cell, and let's hop right into things. Starting off, we are going to take a look at C tier Legends. These are going to be Legends that are more viable in lower ranks, but as you start to make your way up into higher elo, you'll want to swap off them to offer more to your team. And what better way to kick off this list than with the King Bamboozler himself, Mirage. A lot of people really enjoy playing Mirage and find his personality infectious, and I get that making someone look like a fool by shooting multiple decoys as you pop up behind them is fun to do, but this is really only possible in lower rank where players aren't as aware to the little details that point out the real Mirage. He does offer some team utility with his invisible res, but once again it leaves a lot to be desired, and more aware players will be able to counter it. If you have your heart set on playing Mirage and you want the best chance of climbing with him, I suggest taking more of a support style with him. Only use your clones to bait out enemies or check to see if spots are clear before running into them, and use your ultimate as an escape tool or to cause slight confusion in the middle of a fight, but make sure to do it out of line of sight so that players can't easily track you. Moving on, we have the Queen of LMGs herself, Rampart, who I will agree is miles above where she used to be with now being able to move while wielding Sheila, but she still doesn't offer much to her team. Now there is the shield bug at the time of writing this that hasn't been fixed. I'm not really going to cover it though because it's more than likely going to be patched, or by the time you watch this has already been patched. But the reason I put Rampart here is she leaves a lot of open spaces to be pushed. The walls can be broken fairly easily, they don't really deter pushes, and unlike other defensive Legends, she really can't use them in the middle of fight to be aggressive with. Maybe if we see some wall deployment time buffs or something along those lines, she will go up, but for now she's a solid C tier Legend. If you are going to continue to play her, just be more aware of your surroundings, so if a fight breaks out you can start placing walls down before you become the center of attention. Let your teammates take fire while you set up a solid spot to hold with Sheila, and when your walls are up and your Sheila is down, you can start laying cover fire to allow your buddies to heal or reset and take back the fight. Speaking of resetting fights, our next Legend taking a spot in C tier is Lifeline. Now hold on a second, Lifeline main, stop sharpening your pitchforks and put those torches out and just hear me out for a second. Lifeline is strong and can be really helpful for her team in very niche circumstances. The current state of the game for fights is getting on top of teams as quickly as possible. With Lifeline having no movement abilities and no way to get out of fights or to safety, she can be easily caught out. With that, as well as her teammates going down, she can get pushed off them very easily, allowing them to be thirsted very quickly because you can't shield while being Doctrine revived. You have to be able to fully control a fight to make sure your team can get back up, and most diamond and above players won't let you do that. And that's not even mentioning her ultimate, it is basically useless now. With the spiders and prowlers nest dropping smart loot, you get way more out of them than you would a Lifeline ultimate. Plus, if done correctly, you can clear the nest while on rotations and not have to wait for the package to fall. Lifeline is still a solid pick while climbing, but you really have to be aware in fights. Know the closest cover so that if you get shot at, you can be behind it quickly. You also can never be the first one to go down in fights. If you are, then you use all team usefulness and you're better off just swapping Legends. But before we move on to the next tier, if you're enjoying the video so far, make sure to drop a like. And if you want to continue to get a leg up on your journey to becoming a Predator, you'll definitely want to smash that subscribe button to be notified when we post new videos. Now that's been taken care of, let's talk about our B tier Legends. These are the type of Legends you'll see doing well in most ranks, but they either require a team built around their playstyle, or Legends in higher tiers just do what they do slightly better. Because this Legend has a B in their name, I think it's only fitting that they start off B tier, and that is Bangalore. Bangalore is more for players who are focused on solo queuing and aren't always going to play around their team. Her smokes do provide some decent cover to help you out on rotations or to heal in a fight, but that also means that your teammates can't see, so they are forced to either reposition or face having no vision. Couple that with the enemy team possibly having a Bloodhound and her smokes are almost useless. Her ultimate does have some team utility with denying pushes, or even forcing teams inside a building as you push up onto them, but the time it takes to drop and then explode draws out fights and leads to potential third parties having enough time to get to you. Some solid tips for Bangalore is to focus your smokes on the enemy team and try to single out characters that don't have scans or aren't mobile enough to just jump out of the smoke. Cutting off their line of sights is more useful than blocking your own teams in most cases. Speaking about scans, let's talk about Seer. Now, after his extremely broken state when he was was first released, Seer is probably at his most balanced point right now. But in a game such as Apex, where every small advantage matters, being balanced isn't always the best thing. His scan does give slightly more information with showing the health, and it can be great to interrupt heals and revives. Though it is slightly harder to hit people now, and not having the same area of effect as Bloodhound or Crypto, it just kind of feels lackluster in comparison. A strong Seer can be nice to have on your team, but the reason he falls into B tier is because there are legends that does what he does, only better. But what about a legend that has a unique kit? Well, that's where we move on to Revenant. Coming hot off the heels of the insanely annoying Revtame meta, it is kind of refreshing to have a break from Rev comps. He is still very strong with how amazing his totem is for free pushes, but with how open Stormpoint is and how drastic some of the height differences are, he is only at his most useful in very key areas. With how frequent third parties are on Stormpoint, having that death totem to back out of fights can be very nice and extremely clutch in certain situations. With the visual animation of the totem, plus the Octane pads not being as useful as they were, the only legend that he actually kind of couples with at this point is Ashe because of her silent portals. For all my Revenant mains out there, one sneaky tactic you can look to implement is camping gravity cannons. If you hear a fight break out on the other side, you can quickly death totem and shoot yourself into the fray. Get some kills, thirst him immediately, and get sent back to the totem for easy KP. Swinging from one robot to another, up next we have Pathfinder. Ever since his grapple nerf and other legends offering more mobility, Pathy has always felt kind of pushed to the side. Pathfinder can still be an extreme asset to your team, and if you're able to master him to the point that certain players have, then you can pull off some insane game-winning maneuvers. Pathfinder's kit is super straightforward, so there isn't a whole lot for me to break down here. The reason that I have him in B tier is that other legends offer the same mobility, just safer in most cases. If you're looking to become dominant on the zips, then you should start learning his movement techs. Go into the firing range and learn how to get maximum distance off of his grapple, or do a super jump off of his zip line. You want to drill these to the point of mastery, because in stressful situations, you want to be able to hit them no matter what. And mastering your character is a great segue into Crypto. The master hacker himself has always been an interesting playstyle. While he does bring a lot to a team with his beacon scan, being able to tell how many teams there are with the banners nearby, and even being able to put out potentially 150 damage at the start of fights, that all on paper seems like he'd be absolutely broken. But Crypto requires a very particular playstyle that isn't good for solo or even duo queuers. You have to have a full team built around him in order to really get maximum effectiveness. Being able to coordinate and set up for EMP pushes is crucial for success on Drone Boy. If your team isn't a well-oiled machine when it comes to those pushes, they can fall apart very quickly and lead to your express ticket back to the lobby. A good idea for playing Crypto is to get a spot in zone and wait for endgame. You can grief teams nearby you by opening doors with your drone or even EMPing them when they're about to get pushed by other teams. Cause mayhem for everyone else while keeping yourself safe. You can get some easy RP. And causing mayhem and panic in teams is what our last character in B tier does best, and of course I'm talking about Fuse. With some fairly recent buffs coming to Fuse, he has seen a lot more play and viability in certain team comps. Where he falls off though is he doesn't bring anything helpful to his team. All of his abilities are strictly offensive. Built around damage and forcing players out from their hiding spots, Fuse is a good legend if all you're looking to do is fight. His ultimate can be good at locking teams down, and his knuckle cluster is good at flushing people out from corners or choke points. But if you find yourself on the ropes and your team is being pushed, he really uses usefulness with his abilities. They can help, but not as much as other defensive legends. If you're looking to pick up Fuse, make sure to play around your team. He can get caught out extremely easily in fights, and if he happens to be locked down, you're basically a dead man. In fights, focus on trying to split teams up with nades in order to single out less mobile legends and make the fight an easy 3v2. Going forward, we have our A tier legends. These are the legends that are strong in all ranks and are very solid pickups for anyone looking to climb. The only thing separating these legends from S tier is either playstyle or lacking one key feature that we will talk about soon. Starting off in the A tier, we have the new legend Ashe. Ashe is probably the hardest legend for me to place on this list. She is very easily put into S tier, but I think that she lacks one crucial feature on her, and that is the fact that her portal is a one-way trip. You can't take it back. This could potentially leave you stranded and force you to commit to a fight that you may not want to. Though she is amazing in fights and can lock down legends with her tactical, I think she really shines in third party. With her amazing passive, she gives you so much information, not only allowing your team to pick up some easy third parties, but it also allows you to see what side of the map has a lot of fighting going on. Showing you where most of the teams are, you can then play around that information and start to pick up safer, more isolated fights. If you're looking to become an Ashe main, always be looking to gather information from your map. Just don't tunnel vision precision on it though, because then you might be an easy kill. Another great offensive legend to look to pick up is Horizon. Now, Moon Mommy is not nearly as broken as she used to be back when she first came out. She is by no means weak. Stormpoint has some insane height differences, and Horizon allows you and your team to easily get around those differences. Her passive also synergizes incredibly well with the gravity cannons, allowing you to pull off some insane movement, especially if you can throw in some tap strafing, redirects, or even bunny hopping. She also carries one of the strongest offensive ultimates in the game, having the ability to single-handedly win fights with a few well-placed nades, and an ultimate can't be overlooked, and is why she has landed herself into the A tier. Keeping with the offensive legends themes, we can't forget about the stimming daredevil Octane. With the recent nerfs and changes to his jump pad, it has been enough to drop him out of S tier while still being a great option for highly aggressive players who want to jump on teams. He just doesn't bring the same effect that he has in past seasons. He is still the fastest legend while stimming, so if you're looking to run around and leave your teammates faster than my ex left me, then he is the right pick for you. If you are going to play him though, please understand that his pad can drop you in some pretty scary situations. There is no undo button, only look to pad other teams if you are 100% sure about it. Now, moving away from fully offensive legends, let's talk about someone who can be offensive while still offering a support-like ability, and that is Loba. This is a very surprising spot for me to put Loba. In past seasons, she just felt like she was missing something, but with a few buffs over the last couple seasons, on Stormpoint especially, having highly dense POIs that are spread apart, Loba actually fits very well here. Her bracelet offers some offensive capabilities with the option to push with it or save it as an escape tool if the fight doesn't go your way. Her black market, while being extremely straightforward, offers a lot to a team, especially late game, where if someone dies near you, you can get some armor swaps or even meds to help you win the game. But going from offensive to defensive, let's talk about the most shocking legend this season, Wattson. Going into season 11, Wattson saw a lot of changes that gave her a huge tune-up in the current meta. While she isn't the strongest defensive legend, she is in no way, shape, or form a weak legend either. Her fences allow you to hold some pretty serious spots with how scary they've become. In previous seasons, her fences were more of an annoyance, but now they actually pack a punch and can easily get you killed if you hit one. On top of that, the shield regen from her ultimate is always nice to have, and the added bonus of not being able to be naded out can be very comforting while holding certain spots. It does seem like Respawn has fixed some of the issues that she had earlier with nades not actually being destroyed by the ultimate, so that is a solid fix too. I actually used to be a Wattson main for ALGS and Scrim, so having her back in the meta warms my heart, and I've been loving the changes to her. If you guys have gotten a chance to play, what do you guys think about the changes so far? Let me know in the comments down below. Finishing off the A tier though, I wanted to save this legend for last because of how useful they are, so let's talk about Valkyrie. Much like Horizon with all the height changes, Valkyrie offers a lot to a team. She could very easily be placed into S tier, and I've seen a lot of people do so. The main reason I'm keeping Valkyrie to A and not S is the only real team usefulness comes in the form of her ultimate, which is very strong and can very easily win you games if used correctly, but other than that, she is more of a solo style player. Her kit is actually very well balanced, and I love her spot in the current meta. I think if you're a Valkyrie main, you should be very strong this season and climb fairly high. But now the moment everyone's been waiting for, and that is the broken legends in S tier. These are legends that if you really want to climb and dominate, you should either look to main or pick up in your squad, and what better way to start than with the big boys. Kicking it off, let's talk about Gibby. I don't think it surprises anybody to see Gibraltar in S tier. He has been a very strong support since season 3. His overall team style makes him a very valuable asset to almost every single team comp you can think of. The Fortify perk, his gun shield, and his ultimate being all extremely useful means that there's nothing on his kit that is bad. Everything on him adds up to being team style play. His gun shield allows you to poke for free damage to level up Evo shields. His bubble gives you faster revives for your team, as well as providing mobile cover, and his ultimate can cut off team rotations, cut off team pushes, or just save you in fights. If you're looking to pick up a solid anchor or support on your team, Gibraltar is always the perfect go-to. But talking about the other big boy, we have the gas daddy Caustic. With third parties being so frequent on Stormpoint, I don't think as many people play zone as they should. Picking up Caustic on a team with a recon legend to grab zone knowledge is huge. That way you can rotate to endgame and pick up kills later on, and no one can easily push you. Caustic is also able to flip the script and be offensive by applying pressure to teams with blocking off choke points and forcing teams into tight spaces, slowly suffocating them. If you are more of a zone-oriented player, I highly recommend trying out Caustic. Just be aware though, he is huge and you can go down very easily if a team decides to focus you. With both of the supports out of the way, now it's time to talk about the recon S tier legend, Bloodhound. If you aren't aware of how strong Bloodhound is, then you gon' learn today. Not only can they scan beacons giving you zone knowledge, or be able to see footsteps giving you information on how teams are rotating or if you're following someone, but they also give you wall hacks that you cannot be banned for. Just that alone makes them an S tier character. But wait, there's more. You get a free digi threat allowing you to see through smoke and gas, and there's a speed boost that makes you almost as fast as a stimming Octane. There are so many good things thrown into this legend that there is no way to spin any downsides to them. You have so many tools at your disposal, you're basically Batman's utility belt in a video game. But before I talk your ear off with how amazing Bloodhound is, let's finish off this whole list with the Queen of Portals. Wraith did see a drop in play over the last couple seasons. She has seen some harsh nerfs to her portal distance and her phase, but that hasn't stopped her from continuing to be a powerhouse pick. She has a get out of fight free card with her tactical, and although it does take longer to activate, it is still a very strong ability. Though, unlike Ashe, Wraith's portal lasts longer and can be taken back. So if you happen to run up on a team and get hit really hard, you can just go back to the portal and reset. Wraith, in my opinion, is still a very good legend, and if you're solo queuing, she's probably your best option to pick up and play. But that is all for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed it and found it useful. If you did, please remember to give the video a thumbs up. Also, if you want to continue to get these amazing educational videos, don't forget to give that subscribe button a little caress and ring the bell to be alerted when a new video goes live. I hope you all have a fantastic day, and I'll see you all in the next video.